Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're diving into a really cool way of rethinking education. We're going to look at a path that takes a child from their own little world and helps them grow into a truly prepared, confident adult. It's a fascinating way to look at things, so let's just jump right in.
Okay, so let's start with a huge question. I mean, forget about grades, tests, college applications, all that stuff for just a minute. What if we asked ourselves, what is the real purpose of education? Like, what are we actually trying to do here?
Well, the argument in our source material is that our traditional focus, what you see on the left, is just way too narrow. It's all about scores, grades, memorizing facts. The proposal is to shift to something much bigger, a developmental focus. We're talking about building connection, helping kids find their purpose, and fostering real, genuine independence. It's a total shift from asking, what do you know, to asking, who are you becoming?
And that brings us to our first big idea, which is a really powerful concept for kids in that 6 to 12 age range. It's called cosmic education, and it's all about helping them move beyond their own little bubble.
Now, when you first hear cosmic education, you might be thinking, planets and stars. But it's so much more than that. It's really a whole philosophy. It's designed to help children see their place in the cosmos, to feel how deeply connected they are to absolutely everything, the universe, all of history, and every other person. And this quote just nails the mindset shift. Think about it. We spend so much time telling kids to focus on themselves, what they want, what they need. Cosmic education totally flips that script. It shows a child that, in the grand scheme of things, you're a tiny, tiny dot. And the goal isn't to make them feel insignificant. It's to make them feel interconnected. And when kids get this new perspective, something really powerful starts to happen. They develop this deep sense of gratitude, and they begin to look for their own unique mission, their own sort of cosmic task. The question isn't just, what do I want anymore? It becomes, how can I contribute to this amazing interconnected world? Okay, so that sounds incredible, right? But how in the world do you make such a huge abstract idea real for, say, a 9-year-old? Well, you do it through the power of stories. The whole framework is built around these 5 great stories. So instead of teaching biology, history, and math like they're these totally separate, kind of boring subjects, you weave them all together. You tell these epic, sweeping narratives that just spark a kid's curiosity and show them how everything, and I mean everything, is connected. So, for instance, take the second great story, The Coming of Life. It's not a boring list of classifications, no way. It's a dramatic tale of how all life branched out from these tiny, single-celled organisms. You see this huge split into plants and animals, and eventually the emergence of mammals like us. It's the story of our family tree, our shared ancestry with every living thing. And get this feeling of connection, it's not just a nice idea, it's backed up by some pretty mind-blowing science. The source material points out that we share something like 95% of our DNA with animals like pigs. I mean, wow. That's a serious reality check that we are way, way closer to the animal kingdom than we usually like to think. And this is really where it all comes together. When a child can actually grasp these connections, a simple bowl of rice suddenly isn't just food anymore. It becomes this incredible story of the sun and the rain and the soil and the farmer who grew it and the ancestors who cultivated it for generations. That's how you grow a real, deep sense of gratitude for the whole system. All right, so that's the cosmic child. Now let's totally shift gears and jump ahead to the next big phase, the teenage years. We're talking 12 to 18 and that intense, often confusing search for self. The age-old question, right? Every parent asks this. But what if we've been looking at it all wrong? What if what we call rebellion is actually something totally necessary and even healthy? So look at this. It's not just a simple power struggle. On the left, you've got the normal parental hopes. But on the right, you have this fundamental biological drive in the adolescent. They aren't just trying to take you off, they are actively trying to discover their own values and figure out how they fit into the bigger world of society. I love this phrase the source uses. the adolescent is a social newborn. Just like a baby needs a safe home to learn how to walk, a teenager needs a safe place to practice being a member of society. They need a kind of bridge, something that helps them move from the family they're growing out of and toward the adult world they're trying to enter.
So, how do you build that bridge? Well, this is where the source proposes a really bold idea: a purpose-built boarding community. And you can think of it like a flight simulator for social life. It's a lab where they can safely experiment with what it means to be an adult.
And the whole point of a place like this isn't just academics. No, it's a complete education in living. The goals are huge: building real independence and responsibility, creating a genuinely warm and connected culture, understanding the value of actual work and money, and just making a place where learning is happening all the time, in everything they do. And this quote, this is why it works so well. You know, in a normal school day, you can put on a mask. You can pretend to be someone you're not. But when you are living with people 24/7, sooner or later, that mask has to come off. And that's when the real learning about who you are and who other people are really starts. So let's make this super practical. What happens when you have a real, everyday conflict that you just can't run away from? The source uses this perfect example. You have a roommate who's always making noise when you're trying to sleep. At home, maybe you just go complain to your parents, but here, that's not really an option. In that situation, you're pretty much forced to figure it out. You have to learn how to actually communicate what you need, how to respect the other person, and how to solve a real human problem together. You're not just reading about social skills in a book, you are living them every single day. And that right there is how you build character and a moral compass. Okay, this all sounds great for the kids, but you're probably wondering, where do the adults fit in? What's the job of the teacher or the parent in all of this? Well, in this model, their role gets a complete and total rewrite. The adult's role is just completely transformed. On the left, you have the traditional model, the lecturer, the person who gives you the answers, corrects your mistakes, tells you what to do. But in this model, the adult becomes a guide. Their job isn't to give answers, it's to carefully prepare the world around the child and then connect them to the tools they need to discover things for themselves. And this chart of a guide's priorities, it's so revealing. I mean, look at this. Only about 10% of their time is spent on what we'd call teaching or presenting. The vast majority of their job, a full 70%, is just observing the child and preparing the environment. They're basically architects of a learning world. And then they step back, making sure not to interrupt that incredible natural state of concentration. And that really brings us to the final critical question that this whole approach leaves us with. It's a question for all of us. Are we just preparing our kids for the next test? Or are we truly preparing them to be capable, connected, and purposeful adults in the world? What, at the end of the day, is the real endgame of education?